Intrepid viewers, what a right royal cock-up was that trip. Oh, I couldn't get back to you any earlier because I was just digesting it along with the rest of the world. Oh, what was it about? It's like you now have a retired five-star general saying, what has Russia got on this guy? You know, things we've been talking about for months. When you have Fox News scrambling, and in fact not even scrambling, in some cases 3 or 4 of their people were saying this was really bad, bad, bad. He's in trouble, and as the astrologers all predicted, it was going to be possibly the worst day of his life. And I suspect it's the worst so far. But we know there's more to come. There's more to come. And Maria Butina, yes, I said she was a spy. Truly, the psychics, astrologers and tarot readers are so far ahead of this game. It's crazy. So she got arrested. So I'm going to do her, and then I'm going to do Kelly. Do you see those images when they were all sitting at a long table and everyone looked really sour and worried? And so, the only smile in that entire room was Pompeo. Where does he get his medication? You've got like 11 people sitting around going, and you've got Pompeo going, yeah, okay, I'll have the strawberry shortcake. Beautiful. So he's out to lunch. But Kelly, look, if he had a shred of integrity, he would have written his resignation letter. And we should hear about it tomorrow. Anything later than that, sorry, he has to be condemned along with the rest of them. So, but first to the lovely Maria. So she who ingratiated herself with the NRA, and lest we forget, Trump Jr. So she's been a busy gal since about 2015, and I was amazed actually she was still in the States. Will Russia abandon her? She's a professional agent, as we knew. I suspect they might. I don't think they're going to lobby for her extradition. We can do readings on that down the track. It's too early for all that. But she was working. She was there working. Okay, so let's see what's happening for Maria Butina, shall we? Well, not surprisingly, on top, she has the Hanged Man. Lucky we don't still have the gallows for these people. But in this sense, suspended. Her life is suspended from this point. Ooh, will the Russians smuggle her out at some point when we've all stopped watching? Oh, I just had a flash. However, in the meantime, let's not get ahead of ourselves. She gets the Hanged Man. Her life is suspended. That was quite a comfortable life until about 36 hours ago. You know, she was well funded, she was well resourced, she's very versatile and talented. She has a lot going for her in terms of being the gracious spylet that she was. So that's her in her previous life. Yuck, swords. This is retreat, but we're not talking here. It looks awfully like a jail cell in this context, doesn't it, viewers? This isn't just going on a peaceful retreat. For her, she has to be very careful what she says, but as a professional operative, she presumably will be a tough nut to crack. But if she sits up, she will be stabbed by many swords. So in other words, she will need every ounce of her training at this point to deal with the next phase. And not surprisingly, this is the first of many battles she will face. So we'll wait and see how her trial transpires. We'll look at her again nearer the time. She was a protege of Alexander Turshin, who runs the main Russian bank, Putin's piggy bank. So, yes, she has a lot of stuff. And it's a funny world. You know, the mafia always had the sacred omerta of not speaking, and not only did they start squealing, but finally they got a mob boss to squeal. So you never know, she might be the next generation of Russian spies who spills her guts. That might make it a bit more interesting. Okay, so now troops, we're moving on to General Kelly. Never liked him, never trusted him. The best spin you could put on it was he was going to be the grown-up. The man hasn't done anything for months because Trump can't be told. So why would he even bother putting together a briefing or anything else that's required of the role? So I think he's taking a wage under false pretenses. Really, I do. You know. So what does the next little while bring for General Kelly? And then I want to see where the Republicans go from here. Okay, Kelly. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Kelly, you are in for a mauling, a legal mauling. I don't think he's one of the generally corrupt mainstream Republicans that are going to go, but we've got Mueller on top. Mueller. Didn't expect this with his reading. Yes, the card of the Five of Swords, two things come to mind. Victories and losses. He's had some victories, signing on for Trumpland. If he thought this was going to be such a feather in his cap on his resume, the ultimate, chief of staff of the White House, he can forget that. It's going to be a stain for his entire lifetime, and every hour he stays in the job, it's going to get worse. And people don't like him. The people who fought with him are now walking away. So I think he was never liked by the White House staff, obviously, but this is now other people who are not impressed if he stays beyond lunchtime. Okay, he gets the Four of Wands. I call this sort of a quasi-celebration. And in the context of what's happened in the last few days, what is there to celebrate? In the context of this reading, what is there to celebrate? So looking closely at this image, this is the only card in the Rider-Waite where you've got these huge, look, it's all about the perspective in this card. These huge wands and these two people, it could be Trump and Putin, allegedly celebrating. But it's the key phrase, falling short. It's a kind way of putting it, falling short. It was a charade. It made the world realise that compromat and whatever Russia has on Trump has in fact got the USA by the short and curlies. And it's on his watch, it's on Kelly's watch that this man has been allowed to get so totally out of control. The outcome card, justice. So justice coming down for Kelly. Like I said, I'm not getting the money laundering type looking at justice. It might be a moral weighing up of him as a man and his career and justice will be served that he stayed long after his use-by date. Instead of walking out 6 months ago and saying this man is impossible, he decided to stay and pick up a paycheck. So he could be judged in that way, or I could be underestimating what he's been capable of, and he could be one of the filthy money people too. But I'm not getting that vibe first up. I'm getting the vibe that he will be judged as part of this extraordinary time in history. It's going to be fascinating looking back at this period in 20 years or something. But living it's hardcore, as we know, viewers. Living it is hardcore. So, the Republicans, to their wishy-washy credit, at least have come out in significant numbers and gone, gulp, big problem here. What is he talking about? Because it's also got all bound up with his previous few days crushing NATO, disrespecting sovereign allies, and just trampling around the world. And that dreadful interview he did for Murdoch's paper in the UK, dreadful, dreadful. I'm amazed Theresa May didn't put some hemlock in his hamburger. Oh, really, if it wasn't so close on the heels of the Russian poisoning. So, truly dreadful. What do the Republicans make of this? Death. Death. It's the death card first up. Death of the party, death of Trump's presidency, whatever death it's referring to, they know he's gone a bridge too far. They're slow learners, but they're getting there. Okay. All right. Quid pro quo, that's how they've always done business. Scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. We've been in bed with the NRA funding individual senators for decades. Oh, whoops, they're part of all this publicly now. I mean, you know, all their various dealings are coming home to roost. They have got the strength card, in fairness, and they're going to need it. I saw a great banner line today on Twitter, R for Russia and D for Dems. It's like they're going to have to take so much pressure and so much flack, and there'll be so much infighting. They'll need every ounce of strength. But they've still got Trump. I think, upset and grumpy as they are, and although the I word has been mentioned in a few contexts today, I don't think they're up to an impeachment. I don't think they're up to the 25th Amendment, that he's simply not fit, although that's a possibility down the track, guys, because he's looking more and more deranged, as well as just before looking shifty and stupid. Now he looks quite out of it and deranged. So they've got to decide what to do with him. So I'll do a further reading on that in the future. I've got a lot of requests. I'll get to as many as I can. Okay, so I'll let you go because I wanted to do a quick reading and then I want to see what other readers have to say about this. It'll be very interesting. But oh, lordy, lordy. Bye, guys.